Welcome to the Sports Card Talk Show. To the Sports Card Talk Show. Sports Card Talk Show with Kevin Anderson and Lorn Walker, the Skull Brothers.
Welcome to episode 120 of the Sports Card Talk Show. We got a Friday Night Lights interview going on tonight
with Michael at Smith Island. 2 words on YouTube, 1 word on Instagram.
Yeah, I got a screen share up here. I think I got the Instagram one up right there. And YouTube right there. Yeah, it'll be fun chatting with them for sure.
Yeah, he came onto your radar because was it?
A couple of reasons. One, I think originally it was with Tyler at Sick Wicked Sports. Kind of been knowing each other from then, but then, we'll get into it with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of ran into him on Snodzilla.
Snodzilla, yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to be fun to talk to him about. So
Yeah.
Should we knock out a quick trivia and then we'll dial him up? See if you can redeem yourself after the last episode?
Yeah.
All right. What eventual Hall of Famer did the Twins send to the Rangers as part of a trade that brought Roy Smalley to Minnesota?
Potential or did you
Eventual.
Gonna guess Bert Blyleven?
Yep.
Nice.
What Vikings 2012 first-round draft pick started 66 straight games at left tackle before a 2016 hip injury?
Geez, is that Matt Khalil?
Yep.
It never seemed like he played that many straight games.
After trading Randy Moss, the Vikings used the 7th overall pick in the 2005 draft to drop what wide receiver on the roster? And drop is in quotes.
Really?
Yeah.
Troy Williamson.
Yeah. That's funny that they have it in quotations. What Brave starter did Jack Morris outduel in a masterful 10-inning performance to win Game 7 of the 1991 World Series?
John Smoltz.
Man, wow, you killed it this time. Nice.
But the first one was the toughest one. For sure.
Yeah. Let us know how y'all are doing. I know some of you are playing along.
Oh, yeah.
Should we dial them up?
Yeah. I just want to bask in it for a second, but yeah. Ring-a-ling ding dong.
All right, we got Mike dialed up. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Not too bad. Pretty good for this evening. How about you?
We're doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man.
Yeah. Been looking forward to getting you on and chatting with you. We'll get to some of the stuff that I want to touch base on a little bit later, but I thought it'd be a great place to start would be, why don't you talk about your journey in collecting a little bit and kind of where you're at today?
Yeah, absolutely. So as most started when I was younger. I grew up in a small town where we didn't really have LCS. It's weird because the guy that started one actually owned a tax service and a pool hall / game room where kids could go and play arcade games and stuff like that. And then we would always go in there because we used to buy the beef jerky chew that came with the cards. And that's what we started talking about that in there. And he's like, would you guys be interested if I ever, started opening up a card shop? And of course we're like, yeah, take our money. And right below he had a basement to the store that came in from the outside as well. And that's what he turned into the card shop. And we would go there every day after school and even on the weekends to look to see what he had and purchase it. Or even he let us do trades too with cards that he had and cards that we had. And it kind of took off from there growing up. And then, of course, my mom and my stepfather, every birthday or every Christmas or holiday, it would just be like complete sets or just packs of cards and everything like that. And then I kind of got away from it because then sports came into play. And then video games. I love vintage video games. I'm kind of one of those collectors as well.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And then it's probably, let's say like 2012, I started back getting heavy into it. That's when I seen those Facebook groups and everything like that. People doing the breaks or auctioning off cards, and I really got heavy. My wife hated it because I couldn't believe the cards are like that compared to what they were nowadays. It's like I had to have them. It was an addiction almost, but I kind of limit to what I knew. Money here, money there kind of deal. But it just started going off from there. And then PSU Mike kind of got me really heavy back into it, like talking about all these local LCSs, and then like going to antique flea markets and people being set up there, just having you buy packs and ripping them right there. And the guys would actually buy the cards if you didn't want them from you, the really big hits and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, awesome. That is fun. So that brings us up to today pretty much. That's kind of...
Yeah, and sometimes, like he invited me to Snodzilla Breaks his group. And once again, like the cards that are out there nowadays, I couldn't believe the look of them, like how much they're going for, and like it just blew my mind. And I was like, wow, I got to have some of these cards, or like pick your own team and see what you get kind of deal as well. And I was in love at that point, like just watching everything and all the guys that are in the Snodzilla Breaks group are wonderful. And then they kind of filtered me over into what they called the card family. So that was definitely appreciative. And then gave me the ropes, so to speak, of what, stuff may go for, or how to do this or how to razz and stuff like that. Cause I honestly never razzed before. So they taught me a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of terminology that I didn't even know because I wasn't that deep into it, that I'm starting to pick up and understand like what type of card this is and vice versa. So
yeah, it is crazy. Some of the terminology used when I first got back in, I'm like, what's an LCS? What are they talking about?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Use that, yeah. And the cards, I 100% agree. When Lorn started showing me some of them, trying to entice me to get back into the collecting, I was like, oh man, those are nice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of an all or nothing type of person, so I'm like, I really don't want to start, but
exactly.
Yeah.
Once you dip your toe into it, you next thing you know, the water's way too nice not to jump full in,
that is a fact. Yep.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to pick your team breaks. I'm a sucker even though I say I'm going to retire from it. Pat posts pick your team or whatever special it is, score or national treasures or whatever. I'm a sucker for it every time. Even though I say I'm going to quit.
Why don't you let everybody know what your pick your team is? What's the team you pick?
It's always the Raiders when they're available.
Yeah.
Always the Raiders. Baseball, it's a battle for the Braves because there's a lot of Braves fans.
Oh yeah.
But I do PC Oakland Athletics, of course. I watched them growing up. And then the Royals when Bo Jackson came on the scene.
Oh yeah.
So I started picking up PC and them again. But when it comes to football, I don't think I have any competition when it comes to picking the Raiders. I know we always joke with Thrice Aroni because he always hits a Raider in a break. Saying that maybe when I do a dry spell, have him pick the Raiders and then we'll be good. And then I pick the Chiefs and then we'll be okay.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was on quite the Raider streak there. It seemed like every box he opened.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Nice ones too. It was, man, autos and sweet patch cards. And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
Are you originally from the Oakland area, or is that just the team that you gravitated to as a kid?
Yeah, I would say gravitated towards as a kid. Family member, grandfather liked them. So my family originally was from Philly, Westchester, and they were big Eagles fans. And it's like, I'm good with that. I don't want no Eagles. I want to be the outsider, like the black sheep. Okay. And my pap's like, you got to root for a real man's team, the heavy hitters, and talking about Jack Tatum and like everybody that just would pound people in defense. And growing up, I would watch like some other guys with them, and I'm like, this is my team. Like that's some hardcore stuff right there.
Yeah.
Back in the real Oakland Raiders. Back in the
yeah, I wish I was born back then.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, so this is how I guess you want to technically call Die Hard. Being from PA, I actually named my youngest Oakland after the Raiders, of course. But I took the D off, and that actually got him a lot of publicity with some Oakland Raider players.
Oh, nice.
So my wife is a CNA and worked with John Kondo, that's from like Phillipsburg area, that played for the Raiders, long snapper, and she worked with his brother and his brother's wife, and they were like, everyone kept saying, tell him what your son's name is. So they told him. He called his brother up that was out in California and was like, you'll never guess what this little kid's name is, clear here in a little town in Pennsylvania. And he's like, do they go to any Raider games? And of course they asked us, and we're like, yeah, we go to almost every East Coast game. They're like, okay, let's meet up at the Redskins game. That was the time that Derek Carr got killed because his offensive line just dropped because of him not kneeling or anything like that.
Yeah.
And after the game, they took us back to the team buses. Khalil Mack, got to meet Khalil Mack. That was like wonderful. Like,
yeah,
everyone was like, Mike, you can go meet these players. I'm like, it's not about me. It's about him. Like, I'm letting him do his thing. So he got to meet a lot of Raider players for his name, which was pretty cool. I would have never guessed that in my whole life, but
no, yeah, that's a cool story, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really cool. So I think I'm going to transition just because I'm sitting here staring at this darn helmet, and and I'm just going to set up the story a little bit, and so I'm at home, and all of a sudden this notification pops up for Snodzilla, huge personal break, and I'm like, what is this? I'm like, click on it, and I'm watching, and I'm like, no way. So if you kind of want to take it from there, and we'll just go back and forth a little bit on that, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I used to, when he came out with the full-size NFL helmets, I'm like, what is this? I never been in one before. So pick one team, get 3 random for one price. I'm like, have a chance to win a helmet at that price? Absolutely. I was hooked. Skunked the whole entire time. I never thought I was going to hit a helmet. And then one day, I was up visiting family, helping out. My mom moved, and I was just like, you know what? Give me the Raiders. Finally hit a Bo Jackson. Yes, it was a speed rep. I didn't care. It was a Bo Jackson. I was like, I probably spent enough money and then some. I could have just went out and bought one. But the feeling of winning one is so much better than just buying one for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But then as the NFL went on and on, somebody questioned him, hey, would you ever do college helmets? And he's like, if we get enough interest, absolutely. So one time he did a college helmet series, got into that. I was all in on Joey Burrow, Bengals. I did Bengals Raiders every time, except I think it was like the second one I did Dolphins. But then I ended up switching my team to the Bengals because I was just all in on them.
Right.
And so first break, I don't think they pulled a Patrick Mahomes, and I was like, crap. Like, something told me that was going to happen. And then the second break, the one I had Dolphins and switched to Bengals, they ended up pulling a Dan Marino.
Oh.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And
No
Pat's like,
doubt. No,
I bet you regret that. And I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do 100%. And then I think it was the third or fourth helmet that they pulled the Joey Burrow. And that's, of course, we had to wait for the draft to make sure he was getting drafted by the Bengals and everything like that. But that paid for all the breaks that I got into itself. And then just watching him pull other players in helmets, I know they're reps, but I just love the look about college helmets. There's just something about them that attracts me more than NFL, so to speak. And then one day I just shot him a message. I said, would you ever let anybody buy a full case just to do a personal with? And he's like, oh, yeah, if you want to. So I was like, give me a few weeks, or, let me think about it. Let me get permission from the wife. Because I was doing well at work and my bonus was really nice. And I said, I'll see if I can get permission. So I ran it by her. I said, this will be a one-time thing. I never splurged like this. I know we could probably buy, a new used car, even though we had 2 cars, or we could have bought a swimming pool or something. I said, but I need something for the man cave that can stand out besides what I have now down there.
Right.
And she's like, just this one time, but then you're done for the year. And I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, I'll agree, but she probably knows that I'm going to end up getting in more breaks.
Right. Right.
So then that's how it happened. Pat messaged me. He's like, hey, NFL helmets and college helmets are getting shorter because everyone's buying them because cards were not going out. So people were going more to memorabilia. Do you still want to do it? And I said, absolutely. Wife said yes. I can't say no. So let's do it. And that's when it took off. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I still remember watching it, and every time there was one open, I'm like, it can't get much better than this. And every helmet was just awesome. So congrats on that.
Absolutely. And it's funny because like after I got them in and I got to see them, I would love that kept every single one of them, but there were some that really didn't mean that much to me that I knew I could get some PC items with if I got rid of them. Right. So I actually did part ways with a couple of them, but I gathered some better ones and some more PC ones that actually meant a little bit more to me from whether it was watching them growing up or anything like that. But I made other people happy because that was their PC. And that was kind of my main focus. Like if I'm helping them out, they're helping me out with PC items, and it's a perfect match. Sure.
That is a really cool part about the hobby, and maybe you can touch on that a little bit. But I know, well, for Lorn and I think I can speak for both of us. It's a lot of fun being able to reach out and give somebody something for their PC, and it's just cool. It's just cool, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, I agree 110%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Do you want to show off a couple of your helmets? Do you got a couple of helmets you want to show off?
Yeah, I got 3. One that I just love the look of the helmet and what's on the back of it, and 2 that really mean a lot to me. Just because one, I'm a big fan of both, but the one is definitely, you guys will probably know because you watch the video. But I'll start with that one first.
All right, I'm gonna make it full screen so you can show them off. There we go.
Okay. So this one I definitely had to show right there. Of course, is the Bo Jackson Auburn.
Yep.
So this, of course, the story behind this, if most viewers don't know, Snodzilla said he had a special surprise for me. I didn't know what it was. I just thought maybe it was an extra helmet he got from the viewers or the place he buys them from. And turns out when he pulled that out, I just couldn't believe it that he did something like that.
Right.
So I even told Pat and everyone, they're like, what's your favorite helmet? And I said that one by far, because it's just somebody doing that kind of gesture. But then the story behind that gesture is, I was selling my one Street Fighter arcade 1-up machine. And I was talking to a guy that I found out actually is in collecting cards and helmets as well. And he's like, would you ever do a trade? And I said, well, depending what it is, I just PC Raiders and then college helmets. The first thing he showed me was an autograph Pro Line Barry Sanders autograph with an inscription of the MVP, I think 97 on it. My immediate thought wasn't even about me, like, oh, I could use that Barry Sanders. It was, I know a little kid that's part of the card family, or at least I thought at the time, that's where it needs to be at. And then go to find out there was something along the lines where I found, I don't know how true or how accurate, that his father passed away like days before.
Oh, man.
So we're still on the fence of that, because then after it happened, it was like somebody said it was a scam, but I don't know. I don't want no part of that. But
right.
But at the time, I was like, it honestly was meant for that little kid, if that's the truth of behind it.
Yeah.
Like there's higher power in the works. I know there is. Like, that's my whole mindset going through every day of life. Every encounter that I have is there's a reason that you meet people or something happens. There's a reason behind it. Like I always say, it's part of my journey. And the guys will tell you in the group, I always say that it's part of my journey and this and that. And I felt at that time it was meant for that little kid. And that's when Pat did that gesture with the Bo Jackson, because of whatever, if it was true or not true, he didn't want me to be out that Barry Sanders helmet without doing a gesture for me, and also because of everything I do in the card family community. So
yeah, that's cool, man.
But then the next one, of course, is my PC. I think he saved the best for last on that one.
Yep.
Was the Patrick Mahomes. So
that thing is awesome.
Yeah, it's sweet. And then I actually, if you seen, I did a trade for my Joey Burrow helmet for a 1-of-1 Patrick Mahomes printing plate autograph.
Yeah, yep, I saw that.
So that's my next, like, my goal going down is every helmet that I have, I want to at least get an autographed college card and display it with the helmets.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So that's my next goal in line as I'm going down. That's if I don't continue buying a bunch of helmets in place of the cards. And that's lately been my habit. So, but when Pat pulled this, I just love the look of the Navy.
Yes.
The Roger Staubach.
Yeah.
And the Heisman inscription. But on the back is what sold me on it. The Don't Tread on Me.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think Pat loved that as well. So that was pretty cool. Now, depending on when this video goes out, I actually sent Pat a CP that he'll get tomorrow of this exact helmet. So,
oh yeah, this won't come out for a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then he'll already have it. But I told him I wanted to do something for him because of everything he does for me and my family and other people in the card group.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell him what it was. I just said it took a lot of thought and a lot of comparison, because I know he's an Ohio State fan, and it was going to be Eddie George autograph with an inscription. But I watched how much in love he was with that helmet. It kind of clicked in my mind when I found one. I was like, the first one I found, the guy never shipped it, even though he said he did on eBay. And I'm like, he's like, I can't find it in my storage. And I'm like, well, can I just have a refund at that point?
Yeah.
And I found another one even cheaper than the first one that we negotiated back and forth with. And so when he gets that tomorrow, it's going to be, I can't wait. He said he's going to do a live video. So I'm kind of intrigued with that.
Oh, I'm going to have to look out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, that's the fun. Just speaking of that kind of stuff, there's a friend of ours just did a giveaway, and I saw that it happened, and I'm not sure if we won or not, but one of the prizes was a prize that I think should go to a different collector. So that's I'm like, I still want to know if we won, because I'm going to just be automatically just send it to our other friend.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where it belongs,
Absolutely. Yep. And that.
Yeah, the Terps.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I love.
I joked in the comments that we're going to hold it for ransom.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to do that with PSU's Mike gift, that when I got him that Saquon helmet. Because I didn't tell him. He kept asking, like, what are you doing? Questioning, and only I think 3 people knew about it. And when it came to my house, because I accidentally missed clicking on his address and hit mine, I was just going to keep it and take a picture of it and say, look what I got in the mail today, just to get him roused up a little bit. But I couldn't do that to him. He's like a brother to me, so I couldn't do it to him. Yeah,
we really enjoy PSU Mike. He was on a while ago, and just a great guy. Everybody. We're not on Facebook quite yet. We're working on that, and I know that's kind of how you have to get into Snod stuff. And PSU Mike's reached out a couple times and like, well, I can keep an eye out and let you know when your teams are available. I'm like, yeah, let me do that. He's like, I'll just snag them. I'm like, whoa. I need to know how much first. Don't just grab.
Absolutely.
It was a national treasure break, and here's your price.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but just a great group. Yeah, and it's been really fun getting to know everybody, and I kind of showed it already, but I brought it with, and I'm just going to show it because, watching that, it kind of inspired my little first helmet, and I got the Adam Thielen. But yeah, I remember watching that, and it's like, I want to get a helmet now, and yeah, I kind of want to get more now. They're kind of addicting. You're totally right.
They are,
Yeah.
especially like the prices on some of them that are so decently priced, and in my mind, I think they're cheap. It's nonsense not to snag them up, to be honest with you.
Right.
There's a few like other groups that I got invited to that strictly just deal in memorabilia. And just seeing some of these college helmets go for under $200 is unreal. And then some of them are like the special, I guess they want to say the amps or the mats or the Blaze edition, I think they call them now. Just going for that under that price too is just unbelievable. Because like next up on my checklist, I seen it's an all white, I think, with maybe like a silver or gold knight on it. It's Dante Culpepper with a inscription on it.
Yeah.
And I think they were asking 175, and I was like, oh wow. So
yeah, cool.
He played for Central Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think that's what it was. Yeah, because there was
how many It's crazy how many NFL players come out of Central Florida because they're, not a, college powerhouse, so to say.
Absolutely.
Now, watching you guys show off your helmets, there's one helmet that I've been wanting forever, but I also want to, our LCS has it listed for like $275 up at a store, which is probably pretty cheap, but it's all four of the purple people eaters.
Oh yeah.
You got two Hall of Famers on there and potentially a third. And they all four of those defensive linemen were named to the Pro Bowl the same year, and that's like in, I want to say like 74 or 75. Only time ever that a whole defensive lineman got named to a Pro Bowl. So I mean, it's one help, but I buy weight. I can't cut into my card budget to do it. So
trust me, you'll love it when you do it, and you'll never regret it.
Well, when Kevin showed the Adam Thielen off, I was like, I'm so jealous of it too. But one question I had for you too is what made you decide to start making videos and your name too, the Smith Island name? What's the story behind that?
So the video making, I never even really knew that you could do that kind of thing. I just thought YouTube was like to go on and watch, just watch other people. I didn't know how to do it. Like nothing. Mike's like, you should create a video and show guys what you're doing. Like mail days, I didn't know nothing about mail days. I just, every time I got something in the mail, I just opened it, check it out myself, and went about my day. And then I started watching other people's videos. I'm like, oh wow, so this is really that serious. And watching like people comment and subscribe and do all that stuff, I was like, let's try it out. I know my videos are kind of dull compared to other people, but it's fun for me. And watching my boys watch me do it, and they're starting to join in because they've always been into my hobbies and making it ours, from card collecting, memorabilia, the vintage video games. My oldest is into art and antiques and stuff, and my youngest is into basically anything old rock and roll, vinyl, old action figures like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I can't tell you how many he has in the CIB of those that I had growing up. Yeah, that he founds and he just puts on his wall. He's like, I'm not touching it. It's an investment. And I was like, oh wow. And he's 11 years old. So
nice. Yeah, that's I really have been enjoying that part of it. We know several people that do it. father and son or daughter or whatever, and that's just really cool. Or you know what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Parents doing it together. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
And, it's been a fun watching.
So the Smith Island name, it's funny. So, and Jetman will probably crack up laughing because of Revis Island. So growing up when Revis Island was doing his thing, playing football, safety, cornerback, and stuff like that, they would always like user pick because I would always be at the right place at the right time, intercepting people, but also laying out people across the middle. And they would always say that I was identical to Revis Island for that reason, mixed with a little bit of John Lynch, I guess you want to say.
Oh, okay.
Just because of like how big I was for like a tiny person. So one day they just called me Smith Island, and it's stuck ever since. Like every game I went to, even backyard football, like people I never even met, they're like, "Hey, Smith Island." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I don't know you, but yeah, cool." So and I just kept it, and everyone just stuck with it. So I was like, "Nice, I'll take it." And then a couple times we joked around since I got the boys getting more involved, changing it to the Island of Smiths or something along that line, just to change it up a bit. But I think we'll just stick to Smith Island until they're ready to do their own thing with YouTube.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
that's an awesome story.
It is, man. I like that.
Yep, and I do miss those glory days, but not anymore. When everyone's like, "Hey, Mike, you want to come out of retirement and play pickup?" Nope, I'm good. I'm fine.
Same.
I haven't played football in almost 20 years. It was when I moved to Duluth. I was like in my 26 or something like that. I hardly even got hit or tackled. Just the running around laid me up for like a week. I could hardly move. And I can, it's weird the muscles you use playing football compared to like basketball or baseball and stuff. Because I played pickup basketball just even like last summer with my kid, and you still can move around and do that. But football, man, that you're going full steam and then stopping and play after play, and it gives you a real workout.
That it does. Now I'll stick to. I don't know. I'm sure you guys played when you were younger. Wiffle ball is still a thing. So anytime the neighborhood kids want to play wiffle ball in a parking lot, you will find me there.
There you go.
And then Pat said there's leagues for it out his way, and I'm like, what is this? There were guys playing wiffle ball with scoreboards and an actual field in their backyard. I'm like, holy crap.
Wow.
So nice. Yep.
I know when I drive home from Lawrence in the fall, they're playing flag football at a big park. I can't do that, but man, if they had the wiffle ball thing going, heck yeah.
Yeah, flag football is a big thing up here too. They have leagues and like paid tournaments.
Yeah.
And I'm sure probably out your way, like little towns and stuff, they do that what they call semi-pro football.
Yep.
Where a lot of the guys, like that's a big thing around here too, that a lot of people actually go watch and support. So that's pretty cool. And there's actually a couple dudes that were like retired NFL people that are playing this. I'm like, I would not want to get hit by them.
No.
Oh man,
no.
I think when I was like 20 years old, I played with a kid that was like all state at linebacker, and he barely glanced me coming across the middle, and he knocked the air out of me. I'm like laying on the ground going, he just caught me with his like shoulder. Yeah.
Thank goodness we might not have Lorn sitting at the table with us if he would have caught you.
Yeah. It's crazy, and I'm a little dude. But I always could play, I always was pretty good playing pickup basketball or football or whatever, but you play with guys that actually like play and it's a whole nother story, man.
I agree on that one. That's 100%.
So speaking of wiffle ball, I think you had mentioned that Pat or Snods is starting to do bats, huh?
Oh yeah. Yep. And I got hook, line, and sinkered on that one. So I wasn't even gonna he said about personals. I'm like, maybe I'll dip into that instead of like pick your team, since I have to battle for some Braves. Because the funny thing is, he got to pick the checklist, so we know nobody that's in this. It's whoever Pat picked, from prospects to Hall of Famers or whatever. And I know he was, when I had the Drew Brees and Russell Wilson up for Raz, he was interested in both of them. Well, the Russell Wilson actually got sold to a person that was from Wisconsin and was a big Russell Wilson fan.
Oh, yeah.
So I was excited about that, going to a PC team. So I messaged Pat. I said, hey, do you want to work out a deal with the Drew Brees? He's like, well, what are you thinking? I said, how about just one of your personal bats and a couple spots in your helmet breaks that you're running tonight? And he's like, deal, done. I said, oh, wow, okay, cool, easy enough. Yeah. So I took that. So I picked this is crazy. The Colts I picked, because everyone's like, pick the Colts. They're due for a hit. So I said, okay, let's go with the Colts. And then I went to ball practice at 7. That's when the break came on. I'm sitting there and I'm like, got to thinking, I'm like, I feel weird tonight, like, because I always pick the Raiders, win or lose. That's who I pick.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm doing one spot. So right before the break, Pat, we have new rule change. You can't change a team unless it's before the official break. So I said, Pat, I don't feel right. Something's telling me I need the Raiders. Grab the Raiders. He pulls a authentic Pro Line Bo Jackson autograph. I said, holy crap.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, do you have a rabbit's foot up your butt right now? I said, I have no idea. I just had a gut feeling. I said, couldn't be more perfect. Traded a Breeze and got a Bo Jackson authentic. I was like, unreal. So I was like, that's the first win of the night. So the second break, he did a 16 spot, I think. So I picked the Raiders again, of course. That was before I pulled the bow. And then I did the Giants and I forget, the Colts, just because everyone was telling me that they were going to be picked. Then the Broncos came on that one. I think it was Champ Bailey that got picked. So then there was another personal somebody bought, and then my personal. And I think the person won a Soto.
Oh, okay.
Autograph bat. And then mine came up. I got a high prospect for the Dodgers, Gavin Lux.
Oh,
yeah. And like, everyone's like, dude, he's fire. Me personally, I was like, who is this guy? I never, I don't watch the Dodgers. Like, I kind of stick to my teams.
Yeah.
And some other players that I kind of know. And I'm like, and everyone's like, dude, that's an awesome bat. And I'm like, oh, crap. Like, I'll keep it. But then I was like, I had some people reach out to me. I was like, hey, you should sell that or you should trade it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it really didn't have that much meaning to me. So let's see if I can score some PC items for it. So I actually got a Warren Sapp mini helmet with the Hall of Fame inscription, the old style logo, the orange and stripes going down the helmet. And then I got a TJ Watt autograph Blaze Wisconsin helmet. And then some cash deal too for that bat, which I thought was an amazing deal. Everyone's like, you're stupid if you don't take that deal. And the plus side to that is the TJ Watt is actually going to be a care package to Steve Mumma, PSU, Mike's friend, because he never hits helmets. Break. Yeah. He's like for 50. So I told Mike, I said, watching him lose every break kills my spirits. So I got this helmet for him. I know he hates care packages, but I'm gonna send him that TJ Watt. I said, I know he's a Penn State fan, but will he accept this? And Mike's like, yeah, he will. And I was like, cool. Nice. So got that one. And then the same guy that traded me all that stuff wanted this. So I was hooked on the bats. I bought a personal bat and got a Yon, is it Machado for the White Sox?
Yep.
So once again, I was like, who is this guy? I don't know this guy. So the guy's like, hey, I just won a autograph Matt Chapman, I think it is, for the Athletics. Autograph helmet. And I was like, oh, nice. What do you want for it? He's like, I'll trade you this for the Machado bat. And I was like, deal.
Yeah.
So watching what that Athletics helmet was going for, and being that me and Oakland PC that I snagged it up real quick. So it was pretty cool.
Sure.
And then I messaged Pat tonight. I said, my wife gave me permission to buy an early Father's Day gift. Can I have a personal bat, please? And he's like, "You're addicted." And I said, "Absolutely." I was like, "I knew this was going to happen, like helmets and then bats."
Yep.
And it's kind of weird and ironic of who I pulled, and because it's a Father's Day gift. So my mom loved baseball. She loved the Phillies. Mike Schmidt was her favorite baseball player growing up. She named me after him, being that my last name is Smith. She's like, it makes sense. Trust me. Like when I was like, who did you name? Why did you name me the most normal name ever? And she's like, I named you after Mike Schmidt, my favorite baseball player. I was like, awesome. So tonight he pulled a Mike Schmidt autographed baseball bat.
Nice.
So I was like, awesome. For Father's Day, my mom's favorite player, who I was named after. I said it couldn't be more ironic, like how that happened.
That is cool, man.
I can't wait to display that downstairs here in the man cave. So it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, you're definitely getting some really nice pieces for that man cave.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I have a good bit down here before I put these in. A lot of people are like, what do you do for work? And I said, it has nothing to do. I just love the dicker. I said, I love making deals. I love trading. And that's how I accomplish most of my stuff, besides like the stuff I get into Pat's breaks with. And
yeah,
it's just something I love. Like if I see, like, I think it's just mostly my OCD that kicks in. It's like, oh, I've seen that sitting there long enough. Maybe I can trade it for something better. And sometimes it always works out in my favor for some reason.
Yeah. Yep. That's cool, man. I got my wheels turning, and Lauren's sitting here talking about wanting that purple people eater helmet, and all I could think of was you just got to tell him you bought a card for 30 and it's selling for 200. Yeah. You're almost there on one card.
Yeah. That's just I'm actually probably going to be I'm definitely transitioning my employment. I got the termination letter like a few weeks ago, so I'm going to be transitioning, and I'm like thinking about doing something that is less wear and tear on me, where I have the energy to start doing eBay stuff and some of that, because I have a bunch of dreams and a lot of stuff I could move, but I always never have the juice to do it once I get home. So
I know how that goes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I think we don't want to keep you too long. We're around in the 40-minute mark, but man, we're having a great time chatting. Is there anything that you want to end with, where people can find you, all that other fun stuff? We kind of talked about it already, but
yeah,
do it again.
Yeah, I think Instagram and YouTube, Smith Island. I just started Twitter. I think it is Smith Island, either 24 or 84. I can't remember, because when Jetman 80 was like, I have a Twitter, I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, let me check this out. So I started, and Smith Island was already taken, so I had to throw some numbers. But I always use my favorite numbers. Like 24 is always Charles Woodson, 84 Jerry Porter, and then like Bo Jackson, of course, Marcus Allen, and Freddie B. Freddie B is my all-time favorite receiver. Like after watching some of the old DVDs and stuff, VHS as my pap had, that was one of my main receivers that I love. Even though I didn't get to grow up watching them, that was one of my faves.
Yeah, I think we just started Twitter not all that long ago. I think we ended up following each other there. If not, we will be after today.
Yeah,
that's all new. That's a whole other ball game there.
It is. Like I'll stick mainly to Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, of course. But because I did create a page to my real Facebook called Smith Island, I think, sport cards and memorabilia collections, where I display like all the stuff that, like, each day I'll display something, or every couple hours. Next up will probably be like I have a specific spare room in my man cave that is nothing but Atari, Nintendos, old action figures from like He-Man, Power Rangers, TMNT, you name it, it's in there. Just wrapped the whole way around the room. So anytime we're feeling like nostalgic, we'll go in there and play Super Mario or Tecmo Bowl, Excite Bike, or Pac-Man on the Atari. So that's where we kind of get away after, if we're having a rough day. We're like, let's go back to our childhood. And I bring the boys down and say, this is what I had to grow up on. So here, come learn it with me. Because I have those floor model wooden TVs that you have to touch and turn.
Yep.
And it only hooks up to the cable in the back. So that's what I have all the old school stuff hooked up to, just to show the boys like, hey, this is what I had to do growing up. So
yep.
Yeah, dude, you're kicking back some nostalgia there. Like you'd have to get like that box that you'd switch to TV or the game thing.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
I have one of those for some other systems that I have in there, but I think I need another one for like the Atari and stuff. So.
So do you play any of the new school games, the PlayStations or the Xboxes?
Yep. I do the PS4 and the Xbox One. We do a lot of like Call of Duty, and Madden is like one of my favorites, and then of course MLB The Show. I think that's probably one of the best baseball games on new gen ever that PlayStation specifically came out with. So that was I do that mostly with the boys as well, and a couple guys that I are in the car group play some stuff that I get together with. So that's not too bad. It's another way to kind of interact off Facebook and the breaks and stuff like that, and kind of relax. So it's pretty cool. It's nothing. I always say that when watching old graphics in sports games, think in our mind that was the best thing ever. Compared to nowadays, I'm just like mind blown. I'm like, it can't get much better. So I'm waiting for now these new gens, PS5 and whatever the new series of Xbox is. I'm waiting to see what the sports games look like, because in my mind, it's basically just going to be like you're watching TV, and they're going to have that real life look, and you're just going to be playing with real life players instead of like all the technology built in. They're just going to throw a real game in, and that's how you're going to play with like little symbols above them.
Right,
dude. But one of the new generations is going to be plug it into the Matrix, and you just are like, you no longer exist in reality, you know?
Oh yeah. Yep. Because when they came out with that virtual reality stuff for the like the PSVR, I hate stuff like on my face and up close in my eyes, but I'd rather have something like the Matrix up in where it's like right in front of you, kind of deal.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Oh man, we're gonna go right off into another tangent.
Yeah.
we better
We'll say that for another day, maybe when I hit like a couple hundred subscribers or something.
Oh man, this is fun. Why don't you hold on line for 1 second? We'll just bring it to a close, and we'll just chat. At the end there. So I'll bring 120 Mike at Smith Island to a close.
Skull Brothers out.